I honor my boundaries while staying compassionate toward a hurting world. We are living in a time where the world's pain arrives instantly. Every crisis, every headline, every tragedy delivered directly into our hands. What once unfolded at a distance now lives in our pockets. And if you are sensitive, aware, empathetic, you feel it. Not occasionally, constantly. But here is something we are rarely told. Empathy has limits. Not because you are cold, not because you are selfish, not because you care too little, but because you are human. Your nervous system was not designed to process global suffering on a minute-by-minute cycle. There is a biological threshold for how much emotional intensity the body can carry before it begins to fatigue. This is empathy fatigue, and it is not a moral failure. It is a physiological response. When you feel exhausted, numb, irritable, or overwhelmed by the state of the world, that is not evidence that your heart is closing. It is evidence that your system is overloaded. There is a myth that compassionate people must absorb everything, that caring means caring, that being informed means being immersed, but absorbing pain is not the same as responding to it. There is another way. Instead of being a sponge that soaks up every wave of suffering, you can become a vessel. A vessel does not absorb, it holds. It remains intact while offering steadiness. It maintains its structure so that what it carries does not shatter it. Compassion does not require collapse. It requires stability. Preserving your spirit is not selfish. It is stewardship. Setting firm boundaries is not withdrawal from the world. It is protection of your capacity to remain present within it. Your mental energy is finite. Your emotional bandwidth is not unlimited. When you guard it intentionally, you are not caring less. You are caring wisely. There is a difference between staying informed and becoming emotionally flooded. Staying informed is conscious, measured, intentional. Becoming flooded is reactive, continuous, unregulated. Awareness does not require immersion. You can witness without drowning. This is the inner sanctuary rule. Your peace is non-negotiable, not because the world doesn't matter, but because your steadiness does. When your inner sanctuary is intact, you can return to it. You can reset. You can re-enter the world without losing yourself inside it. Long-term compassion requires long-term preservation, and preservation requires boundaries. There is a quiet guilt that surfaces when the world is in pain, and you experience joy. You laugh, you rest, you breathe easily, and somewhere inside, a voice whispers, "How can you feel this when others are suffering?" But joy is not betrayal. Rest is not indifference. Your stability does not diminish someone else's struggle. In fact, a depleted person has little to offer. When you are exhausted, overstimulated, emotionally flooded, your presence becomes fragile. But a grounded person offers something different: a stable frequency, a regulated nervous system, clear thinking, measured response. Grounded compassion is not loud. It is steady. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates. Gates open intentionally. Gates close intentionally. They regulate flow so that exchange remains healthy. When you reframe boundaries as regulation instead of rejection, guilt softens. You realize that preserving your joy is responsible. Because the world does not need more burned out hearts. It needs steady ones. There is an art to witnessing suffering without absorbing it. You can acknowledge pain without becoming it. You can care without collapsing into the identity of the victim or the crisis. Witnessing is presence. It is saying, I see this, I recognize this, I honor that this is real, but I do not take it on as my personal burden to carry. After consuming heavy information, the body often needs release. Tension gathers, breath shortens, shoulders tighten. Collective stress moves through the nervous system, and it must be moved out. A long exhale, shaking out the hands, stepping outside, feet on the ground. These small resets remind the body, you are safe, you are here, you are not inside the event, and then there is focus. The mind can spiral over global variables it cannot control, but your influence is strongest locally, in your home, in your conversations, in your community. Grounded compassion asks, where can I make tangible impact? Not everywhere, somewhere. Small, steady contribution outweighs anxious overwhelm. In a world that reacts quickly, there is quiet power in remaining steady. Calm is not passive. It is strength under regulation. Your steadiness softens conversations. Your clarity slows escalation. Your compassion feels safe instead of frantic. In reactionary environments, the calm person becomes the anchor, but steadiness is practice. It is anchored daily. Before the world begins asking for you, a breath before opening your phone, a moment of silence before responding, a ritual that meets yourself before meeting the world. Honoring your limits is not withdrawing from compassion. It is what preserves it. Boundaries do not shrink your heart. They protect it from erosion. When your energy is sustainable, your compassion becomes consistent. When your spirit is preserved, your care becomes enduring. You are not here to burn brightly for a moment and disappear. You are here to remain steady, clear, open. In honoring your limits, your compassion becomes not fragile, but unwavering. And in a hurting world, that kind of presence is powerful.